Hi everyone. Today we are going to study various approaches that are used for development of information system in system analysis and design. So what are those approaches which are used to develop an information system? Now, various approaches are available for development of information systems. And these approaches are, the first approach is a model-driven approach. The model-driven approach emphasizes on drawing of pictures. So basically it is a pictorial system model wherein you draw pictures to document and validate both the existing or proposed system, whether it is an existing system or it is a proposed system. How do you document and validate that system? With the help of pictorial representation, which is also known as your pictorial system model. So the model driven approach uses pictorial representations to document and validate either an existing or a proposed information system. Now the system model becomes the blueprint for designing and constructing an improved system. This particular system model, which is basically the model driven approach over here. So this system model which uses the model driven approach, it then becomes a blueprint. It then becomes a blueprint for designing and constructing a system. If it is an existing system, then it can be used to improve the system. And if it is a new or proposed system, then this particular blueprint can be used for designing or constructing the system. The next approach is accelerated approach. In the accelerated approach, a prototyping approach is used. So what is a prototyping approach? A prototyping approach basically emphasizes the construction of a model of the system. You construct a small scale working model of a system. Basically, prototyping approach uses a prototype. And what is a prototype? A prototype is a small scale working model of the system. So basically you are using a small scale working model of the system in accelerated approach for designing an information system. Now, as I said, a prototype is a working model or a working system that is developed to test ideas and assumptions about the new system. See, it is not feasible or viable to construct the whole large scale system and then test for things. So it is better if you do an initial testing with the help of a small scale model, which is the prototype over here. So what is done? You develop a prototype and then you test your ideas and assumptions about the new system, whether they are valid or not. It consists of a working software. Since we are talking of information systems, so a prototype here would be a small scale working software of the information system. So the accelerated approach consists of a working software that accepts obviously input. Without input, no software would work. So it accepts inputs, then performs calculations on those inputs, and then it produces a printed or display information based on the calculations, and whatever processing is done on the input, it produces your printed or display information or performs other meaningful activities. So this is your accelerated approach. Now the third approach is your joint application development approach for developing an information system. In this approach, what you do? So a joint application development approach is defined as a structured approach in which users, managers and analysts work together for several days in a series of intensive meetings to specify or review system requirements. In this approach, requirements are identified and design details are finalized. So the name itself says joint application development, wherein the users, the managers and the analysts work together in a joint manner in a team, and they work together for several days. Users, managers, and analysts all work together for several days. They sit together for several days in a series of intensive meetings. So for several days, there are intensive meetings held between the users, the managers, and the analysts. And why are these meetings held? These meetings are held to specify or to review the system requirements. These system requirements are specified. What all would be the system requirements? These system requirements are reviewed. What all these system requirements are, what are their impacts, and then in this approach requirements are identified. So basically the users, managers, and analysts sit together for intensive meetings for the purpose of identifying the requirements of the system. So at the end, what do you achieve? You achieve at a final conclusion as to what the requirements of the system are, and then based on the requirements of the system, the design details are finalized as to how the system, the information system, would be designed. So these are the three approaches in general for developing an information system.